It's super important because even if you take the term wellness that we've used over and over, there's a guy by the name of Dr. Darius Daniels. He has a quote that I quote all the time. He says, "You can't get well if you don't get real." And in order for someone to get real with you, they have to be able to trust you. They have to have confidence in you, and that requires relationship.
Welcome back to another episode of The Burn. I am Ben Newman, and you know how we do this every single week. We're bringing you athletes, entrepreneurs, business owners, individuals performing at their highest level, talking about their burn, that fire that lies inside of them that ignites why and purpose that then causes you to take the necessary action. Today we're here with my guy, Nicodemus Christopher, and we just got done with a little burn right over there. So I don't even know if I feel like interviewing him. We go back 5 years to when I first had the opportunity to work with the Missouri basketball program, and Nick was the head strength and conditioning coach for Coach Martin. And we built an unbelievable relationship. But we're going to twist this up a little bit today. We're not going to talk about basketball. We're not going to talk about who he's working with out here in San Diego. We're going to talk about the importance of relationships, what drives him, and your opportunity to be your best with your wellness, your nutrition, to tackle your best self in your life. So here's where I want to start. You think about relationships.
Yeah.
We can go back to workouts at Mizzou or workouts that we just got today, but I remember practices.
Yeah.
You and I would be on the sideline talking about Bitcoin. We'd be talking about cars.
Yeah.
And it was real.
Yeah.
And I saw you that way with players. I saw you that way with me.
Yeah.
And that's so natural for you in life.
Yeah.
So what is it about people that is so important to you?
You know what? I think you can trace that back to my upbringing. The way that I was raised. My parents were actually ministers, and I spent a long part of my childhood actually growing up in a mission where they dedicated their life to feeding and clothing the homeless. So for as long as I can remember, it's been all about serving people and helping to provide for the needs of other people. So I think that that's just innate and inherently in me from childhood, from my experiences. Yeah.
And now I see that act of service not just go to players,
Yeah.
but I know you try to be tough sometimes. We're going to get you a little emotional. I've seen a different side of you with little Nick.
Oh, man.
And once Fallon was pregnant, and I
Yeah.
could see something in your eyes. I could hear it in your voice when we would talk. Like,
Yeah.
you were so ready. It's giving me goosebumps.
Yeah.
You were so ready to be a dad.
Yeah.
Because for so long, you've served so many players and athletes for years.
Yeah.
But now to have a little man, how has that impacted your burn?
Oh my goodness, he's you know what? He's taught me some of the greatest life lessons that I've ever learned. And my son is only 15 months old. He'll be 16 months this week. But just watching someone that you created grow and mature, and watching his development, you know, whether it's the changes in his behavior, the way that he mimics some of the things that you do, you know, he teaches me a valuable lesson every single day, on a daily basis. And then, you know, obviously, when you watch what your wife goes through for 9 months with a pregnancy, I mean, obviously, you know all about that. You just have a newfound respect for them and what they do for your family and the sacrifices that they make to bring that child into the world. So a whole new level of respect for her, and a whole new level of accountability. You know, I tell people all the time, my son is my accountability partner. Like, he holds me accountable because every decision that I make the thought process behind it is this in the best interest of my wife, and is this in the best interest of my son? So just having him helps me stay more accountable.
So when I think of that accountability, and when I think about you and how you show up, I think back to watching you run workouts at Mizzou. It was one of the first times, really, in all of my work with strength and conditioning coaches in sports, you really brought science into it.
Yeah.
And when I think about you, I think of intentional focus.
Yeah.
So hearing you talk about your family, there's intentional focus.
Yeah.
Even though you and I don't connect as often as we would want to, but we got to fix that. We always pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
But there's intentional focus, not to waste any time.
Yeah.
It's Ben, be real with me.
Yeah.
What's going on in your life? What's going on with your family? And it's the same with us. Like, we cut right down to it.
Yeah.
Intentional focus.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Even when we were doing our workout, my tendency, I want to go fast. How many? You want 10 reps? Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Ben, slow down.
Yeah.
And I've always really appreciated about you, like, you're slow, you're methodical to do things right.
Yeah.
So how important is that when you're working with individuals?
It's everything. It's everything. And it is crazy that you described it as intentional focus, because that's exactly what it is. Like, my goal with everything that I do, even with my athletes, with everyone that I'm working with, is to bring that type of intentionality in it. And, you know, me being a man of faith, you know, that's where the intentionality thing is something that I hold so true to, because you think about the life of Jesus, right? In 3 years, he changed the world. So imagine that type of intentionality that he had to have, and the type of intentionality that he used to approach every single day in order to transform the world in 3 years, right? So I try to bring that same type of intentionality into every single thing that I do. It's a difference maker.
And I've seen that in just the involvement of your career and your focus and how you go about doing things.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the piece about your parents.
Yeah.
And the mission work. It really speaks to everything. You being intentional with your son, with your wife, with your career. But I know now there's this big mindset shift for you on wellness.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that's mission work again.
Yeah.
It's like what you learned from your parents.
Absolutely.
Is to say, sure, I could be on the sidelines. I could have the glitz and the glamour, but I admire your ability to say, no, I'm going to wave at the flames of people's fire.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand out of these cameras. So I appreciate you getting in front of the camera for me. I know you don't like this.
Man.
But I want to stay behind the camera.
Yeah.
But how important is this for you? Help us understand, what is this new mission for wellness, for nutrition, for people to be intentional in a world where there's underserved markets?
Yeah.
There's people who aren't getting the right information.
Yeah.
How important is that for you for this next chapter of your journey?
You know what? It's everything. And I think that there's two parts to that. I think, you know, obviously with me spending 12 years as a collegiate strength and conditioning coach, and then stepping away to start my own business and working with CEOs and professional athletes and things of that nature, I think I've always kept in mind that that's the vehicle for me. Right? It's not the destination, because the destination is purpose. I think that no matter where I am, I realize that that's my vehicle, and the purpose has always been wellness, right? And I think it's interesting that you use wellness. So if we break it down, like, what is wellness to me? It's a human optimization. Right? So making sure that every single person who is unique in their own right is doing everything that's necessary to perform at an optimal level, right? And that requires mind, body, spirit. There has to be alignment there. And I think that with so much information out there, sometimes we can get lost in just the busyness of it all, or that we can become overwhelmed. So my desire is to just help people realize, you know, the importance of sleep, the importance of exercise, the importance of nutrition, because those three building blocks make a huge difference in our lives. There are so many different diseases and things of that nature that we suffer from in today's society that we can change by simply addressing our sleep, addressing our exercise, and addressing our nutrition.
Which I know can be tough, it can be challenging, but there's a need to really go deep with people.
Yes.
And I remember Drew Hanlon shared a concept with me one time in some coaching work that we were doing, and it's a concept he calls depth over width. And I think a lot of people, when they approach business, it's how wide can I go? Can I go get hundreds of clients? And you and I having breakfast this morning, I was fascinated but not surprised with the intentional focus and nature of, no, I want to go deep with a very select few. So your choice to work with a CEO, very, very few, but I'm going to help that CEO step back and evaluate every little decision and choice that they make. How important is that concept of depth over width to you?
It's super important because even if you take the term wellness that we've used over and over, there's a guy by the name of Dr. Darius Daniels. He has a quote that I quote all the time. He says, "You can't get well if you don't get real." And in order for someone to get real with you, they have to be able to trust you. They have to have confidence in you, and that requires relationship. And you don't gain those types of relationships overnight. So in order for me to gain your confidence and gain your trust, you have to see that I'm completely invested in you. And the reality of it is, if I'm completely invested in hundreds of thousands of people, everybody's getting a small piece of me. Nobody's getting the depth of that relationship. So I've just decided to step back and really invest in a select few people and give them everything that I have.
What's the most important lesson that you've learned? So if there was one lesson where you'd say, okay, I am going to be select, I'm going to go deep with these individuals, what's one lesson that you think would be a commonality in everybody that you work with?
Everybody needs someone to pour into them. Right, especially in the area that I do and what I do, I see people who have dedicated their lives to pouring into others, whether it's through content generation, through running a company, the professional athletes who are giving their all on the court, whatever it might be. Everybody needs somebody behind the scenes. They need somebody who's willing to pour back into them. And I think the other part about it is consistency. You know, that's one of the greatest lessons that I learned from Coach Martin, being with him for 10 seasons. I watched that man be the exact same person every single day. Yes. You know, whether it was the ups, the downs, whatever, he was the same. And I think that sometimes people just need that consistent figure behind the scenes who's like, hey, I need nothing from you. I'm here to pour into. I'm here to give back to you, and I want you to perform at your highest level, at your most optimal level. So at the root of it, it's still the service. Like, I want to see other people succeed, and I think in order to achieve that, I think everybody has a unique purpose, and your unique purpose is tied to your unique identity, your unique needs, your unique dreams, your unique desires, right? And in the world that we live in, sometimes we get away from our uniqueness, and we kind of forget who we are, and we get caught up in everything else. So that's one of the main things that I do, is help people realize how unique they are, help them realize what we need to do to help them achieve their unique purpose. Because at the end of the day, there's only one Ben Newman, and you were put on this earth to do something specifically that only you can do. So my role is to help you make sure that you achieve what only you can do. Because if you don't, you rob the world of the fruit that only you can provide.
So I wholeheartedly believe in everything that you just said.
Yeah.
But to finish it up, here's what I would love for you to do. There's people watching right now,
yeah,
especially with everything that's going on in the world, and people being confused, and there's fears, and there's doubt. And I often refer to, they're waiting on this sideline.
Yeah.
Right? And do I go in or do I not? Do I say, Coach, put me in the game?
Yeah.
And they're waiting.
Yeah.
Yet we know from our work, they have it in them, but they have to choose to go take it.
Yeah.
So what's the message that you share with that person who knows wellness is important, they know nutrition is important, they know having focus is important, but they're just stuck, and they feel like, I have an unwillingness to take action. Yeah. What's the message to that person who's listening?
Do one thing. Pick one thing. Usually what happens is their mind gets bogged down with all the different options and the different things that they can do. Pick one thing to do. I don't care if it's wake up and within the first 30 minutes of your day, go get sunlight exposure. Like, most people don't realize the huge impact that 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight exposure in the morning has. It helps with hormonal regulation, circadian alignment. It will help you sleep better later on in the night. Grab some green tea in the morning. Make a commitment to turn your phone off 90 minutes before bed so that you can get optimal sleep. Add some fruits or vegetables to one meal. Give up added sugars. Give up refined oils. Just pick one thing and consistently do that.
One thing.
One thing.
See, this is why I love this stuff. You get the real. Yeah. There's no messing around. We would goof around about the Bitcoin. We would have fun. We would cut up in building this amazing relationship, but you always keep it real, and that's what I appreciate you for. And what I'd love to say to everybody is go find that one thing, right? Because you can watch podcasts. We can get on this. We can get on that. We can go on social media. But without action, we remain the same. Yeah. So take it from Nick. What's the one thing that you can change starting now? And then can you go empower somebody else to maybe watch this episode? Or can you share your biggest takeaway and then empower and inspire somebody else to go choose one thing? If we do our part and do that, the world changes.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate the realness of our relationship. I appreciate that we never get off in la-la land with the silly stuff. We always keep it real. For sure. And I love you, and I'm always in your corner.
Love you too. Appreciate you, my dude.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.